At the end of the year, we all find ourselves pausing for a moment. Moments that brought us joy. Time that quietly slipped away. Choices we wish we had made just a little differently. On this quiet night, gratitude and regret arrive together. Psychologist Eric Fromm once said, "Love is not merely a feeling, but an attitude, a way of relating to life. And the first place that love begins is in looking at ourselves once again." Your past self was not wrong, but a record of growth. We often think back to who we were last year, or even yesterday, and let out a quiet sigh. Why did I handle it that way? If only I hadn't said that. If I had just been a little braver. But Fromm reminds us, human beings are always in the process of becoming, and past mistakes are signs of maturity. The reason we regret our past is not because we failed, but because we have grown. The person you were then did not know what you know now, could not endure what you can endure now, had not yet grown in the ways you have today. At that moment, you were doing the best you could, with the understanding and strength you had. That person was fully, honestly you. Forgiving yourself does not mean erasing the past. Fromm also said, to love oneself means to take responsibility for oneself. We do not forgive ourselves to justify our actions, nor to pretend mistakes never happened. Forgiveness means looking at your past without excuses, and trying to understand why you made those choices. At that time, in that environment, under those circumstances, with that state of heart, you were doing the best you could. You were not perfect, but you were surviving, you were living, and when we acknowledge that truth, we finally become able to forgive ourselves. Regret is not meant to punish you. Few emotions quietly wear us down like regret. But Fromm described regret as a sign of growth, because regret means you can now see what you once could not. What was invisible to you before has become clear to you now. Regret is not a flaw. It is the movement of a heart that says, I want to become someone better. Preparing for a new self begins with creating space. Fromm described love as an active movement, not something we wait for, but something we choose to practice. The first step toward welcoming a new you is the same. It begins by creating a small empty space within your heart. If your heart is filled entirely with regret and self-blame, there is no room for something new to enter. That space is not for forced positivity. It is space for possibility, for futures that have not yet arrived, for people you have not yet met, for versions of yourself you have not yet discovered. When you allow that space, the new you can quietly step inside. Who will you be next year? This question begins with love. Fromm once said, growth without love is empty. The love he speaks of is not romance or sentiment. It is an attitude toward life, made of respect, attention, responsibility, and courage. Next year's version of you begins with respect for who you are today. It grows through the attention you give to your past mistakes and wounds, and it becomes whole through the courage to take responsibility for your own life. No one else creates the next version of you. It begins here, now, by slowly turning on the light within yourself. A night to say you did well to who you were. On this quiet night at the end of the year, your heart is likely carrying many layered emotions, days of happiness, days of exhaustion, moments you had to endure alone, without being seen. Fromm said, love is the power that allows us to keep living, and that love does not begin far away. It begins right here, as you look at your past self and say, you did well, you really did the best you could. In that moment, you can gently set this year down, and prepare to welcome a new version of yourself. And the coming year will be waiting for you, slowly, warmly, at your own pace. To you who lived through this year, you truly did well.